Well, hello. Yes, back again. This is the first one of this year. We were planning to come last week as well, but things got in the way. I had Mark all lined up, but I got a little message off Mark saying liquid was coming out of every orifice, and it wasn't a pleasant sight. He wasn't feeling too good. I'm filling in the blanks, Mark, that you left there because you said you've had a bit of a hell of a time with it. You got norovirus, is that right?
It was, yeah. Last Sunday night, I wasn't feeling good.
No.
So my son had it, and then last Sunday night, I wasn't feeling great, and I was kind of awake most of the night, but I was fine.
Oh, have I gone? Have you gone?
No,
You're
there,
fine,
you're there.
Tony. I'm just really hoping
we're
no
all
one
there.
just sat down with their dinner
No.
to watch this.
Then Monday morning, I woke up, and I logged on to work, and I worked for about 2.5 hours, and I just had to run, and it was just sick, like to begin with. And it was
Welcome back after Christmas,
awful.
everybody.
It's horrendous. But if anybody's ever had it, I think everybody's had it, haven't they, at some point? But it's blooming awful.
Very nice.
It's a good way to kick off the Christmas weight loss kind of regime afterwards. It's a bit extreme, but it works.
Get them first £7 off straight away. So yes. And
In
JB
keeping
had
with our name.
JB, you had hellish toothache, or were you just kind of wanting to miss a week? Do you mean
No, yeah, I've had some tooth problems. Got lots more dental trips planned. Not very fun. Not very fun.
Because when you said, "Oh, I've got the dentist," I was thinking, "Yeah," and then I realised I've been mourning for the last 2 months about the dentist, and it's horrific. It's horrible, to be honest. So, well, it's nice, Jess. You're there. You were there, ready to go. And
I was ready.
It's just me and you.
I was keeping all the liquids in, and my teeth were all right. But,
So, what has anything been happening? Has anything been happening with you gardening wise?
other than I said I wasn't going to sow anything in January, and I've sown a decent number of things.
Oh,
very nice.
So yeah.
Why did you do that? Like left turn and what?
Because I've got no self-control. No, I thought about it, and I wasn't gonna have like a setup like I had last year with the. I was going to do the heat mats and everything, but I wasn't going to try and start them this early. But I decided actually I would just rein it in and start a couple of things early. I've only done chilies and aubergines.
I was gonna say aubergines. I bet that's the one. Aubergines, because I've got some. Ian sent us some down, Jess. Them white ones you were talking about.
Yeah, I've just sown them.
Right, I can see something actually in the background. There's that.
In fact, yeah, this is the aubergines. That's White Knight, the one you're talking about.
Right.
Dark Knight. It's not Dark Knight, Jesse. It's not Batman. Every time I say Dark Knight, it's Purple Knight. It's a dark one, but it's Purple Knight. And and I'm just doing, Black Beauty, bog standard.
Right. JB, any sowings from you?
No, absolutely nothing. I said I wasn't going to do it in January, and I actually haven't. So I don't know if it's cause for applause because it's just me being lazy. But the restraint I've been able to maintain it. I haven't started a single chili pepper yet, which is crazy because 1st of Jan normally I'm raring to go.
JB, I think we'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? Honestly we'll be fine. I mean, I don't know if you can kind of see over there. My rocket
I see it.
Rocket's coming through there, but that's not classed as sown. Do you know what I mean? That's an experiment. But I do, JB, I am this 1st of February thinking, in that first week gonna go, yes, right, this is it. But I'm now getting worried. Do you know I'm in this worried state where, Jess, should I do it? Should I sow just to be on the safe side?
You've got the January frets.
Yes, the
January frets. Very good.
So I'm going to try and hang on, but that's a great one, the January frets. Oh.
I just realised that's not. I wasn't entirely truthful. I have also done the cucumbers.
Oh God, you've just. Well, you might as well just give up. You've given up and you've full jumped straight into sowing. Do you know what I mean? So Anything, Mark? Anything for you, son wise?
Well, when I've not been on my deathbed, I've managed to get onions on the go. So I've got Red Baron and Bedfordshire Champion, and I've got some spring onions on the go as well. Normally, I would have had my chilies and my aubergines on the go by now, but again, I'm trying to hold off. I'm going to crack though, because I think I've got to move the greenhouse. But I reckon once that's done this weekend, that's getting done. So once I've moved that, then I'll be given to temptation and I'll be in there and I'll get stuff sown. So I reckon within the next fortnight, chilies and aubergines will be on the go as well.
Right, Mark, you did say there rather flippantly, I'll be honest, flippantly, I'm going to move the greenhouse this weekend. You know what I mean? As if it's just like pushing it across the road. You know what I mean? As if it's like nothing.
Yeah.
Is it going to be that's not going to be a straightforward job. I'll put money on it. You'll come across something.
I've got a plan, and I can see people's eyes rolling already about my plan. So I don't know whether it was foresight or whatever, but when I bought it with one of the bases. So I've got the metal base on it. So my plan is to take all the glass out, right? Which I think is going to be the biggest pain. That's going to be a pain because of the little W clips and things. Getting all them out will be a pain. Once the glass is out, detach the frame from the base, right? And I've got a man with a van. He's going to come along on Saturday, and they're going to lift the entire frame into the van, bring it to the other end, drop it off, put it all back together in reverse order, and it saves me taking everything apart. And if I had to hire a van, I mean, these guys are only charging 50 quid to move it. If I had to hire a van, it would be 50 quid anyway, and I'd have to take it all apart and stuff like that. So I thought, risk it. Let's go for it. Let's try it. Let's do it.
Where's it going to then?
It's only a couple of miles. So I've moved house. I'm only a couple of miles down the road from where I was.
Right.
But the greenhouse needs to move with me, obviously.
There's a lot of revelations happening.
Yeah, I had no idea you moved house.
Yeah, in a different house.
Kept it quiet.
Right. So
surprise.
We've got to dig into this now. And what's the garden like at the new house, Mark? Is it
It's
bigger?
not as big as the other one. The other one was gargantuan. It was massive. But it'll do for the greenhouse. Nicely set up out the back. I've got a plan out the back where it's going to be, where it's going to go. Ready to get my filming done in the greenhouse and whatever. So I've got to get the priorities right. And there's a massive garage. So I've got a massive garage now, and it's ginormous. And I'm thinking about putting a YouTube studio at the back of it. But we'll see. That's something else. That's for another day.
What about electric in the greenhouse?
That's the thing. There's power in the garage, and it's got its own fuse box. So I'm hoping I can just run a spur from the fuse box into the greenhouse, or at least put an outside socket on the edge of the garage and just run a cable from there into the greenhouse. So there's a plan.
Exciting.
Yeah, there you
Oh
go.
my gosh, the idea of a greenhouse with power is quite
I know,
quite a
isn't
thing.
it? Yeah. Okay.
Mine, it's the idea of doing it in the weekend.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm gonna go. I've got Thursday off work, so I'm gonna go down on Thursday, take all the glass out, and try because I'm going to move that in my car. So I'm going to put it in layers, blanket, layer, blanket, layer, blanket. Take it out. Then the frame goes. But we'll see. We'll see if it's straightforward. It should be straightforward, but never say never and all that.
You know those reaction videos on TikTok where you can just see somebody's face in the corner in disbelief? If we could overlay JB into the bottom of yours as you're saying this, it's like...
I was just going to say, with the glass, make sure travel upright.
Yeah.
Not flat.
Not flat.
It sounded like you meant flat.
Oh, really? Upright, right?
Yeah,
That's good to know.
upright.
Right.
If they're all flat, it only takes one little stone or bump.
Yeah.
To just crack the whole lot.
Oh, really?
It'll travel right through it, whereas when they're upright,
that's
they're
good to know.
way stronger.
There we go. That
Much
saved
more
you.
resilient.
It was worth turning up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So if you didn't know that basic rule, Mark, this 2 day traveling's not, you know what I mean, kind of. Wow. You know, I tell you what, mind you've still got that enthusiasm for that. Because if I've even had to move that little one, do you know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, God.
Oh, it's a front.
I'm never doing it again. I'll tell you that. I'm never moving a greenhouse. No.
Did you ever get the greenhouse to like full potential in your old place, Mark? Did you get it all the way you wanted it?
Yeah. And it smashed. It was brilliant last year. It's absolutely blooming marvelous. And I'm hoping because it's so new that it's going to be okay to take it apart. You know, the clips and stuff, like the W clips I mentioned before, the glasses. I'm hoping they're not going to be all manky and rusted sort of in. I'm hoping they'll just pop out, but
They should be okay.
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah,
I heard
we'll
just
see.
that. I heard them say smashed.
Smashed.
Did you
Wasn't
know?
smashed? No, it was
No,
smashing. I might have said
I-
it was smashing, which is probably a bad choice of
that
words
was
for a
it.
greenhouse.
Yeah. No, it's like-
It was smashing.
You can get them little clips though, Mark, off
I've got a
Amazon.
bag. I ordered 100 off Amazon for
right.
£6 because you can guarantee they'll never go back in.
Straight away.
Ping.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Eye protection.
So what, just out of curiosity then, because we are the beginning of the year, we're kind of nearly at it. JB, have you got any kind of tips for anyone out there, like starting now in February, seeds, a tip? You know, it could be like with lights, with heat, without. Is there anything over the kind of years you thought, you know what, that's a cracking idea that I've got there?
Well, I mean, we're all trying to hold back a bit, right? Like we're trying to be a bit more restrained this year. But if you're a relative like newbie and you've got the time, I mean, I'm holding back because I got loads of reasons to, you know, like I'm going away in February, and in the past I've had a jungle of plants that I'm like trying to push back. But if you're a beginner, yeah, to start now. Like don't hold back if you want to give it a go. If you've got a decent setup indoors with some lights, or you want to get some lights, there's plenty of guides and YouTube videos on it. Get your chilies in. Maybe not your tomatoes. Maybe a bit early on your tomatoes, but aubergines and stuff like that. There's people down our allotments who've started off their tomatoes indoors already. I was like, "Are you sure?" That's bold.
Yeah, my sister's done the tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
but she's got the space, so it's okay. Like that's the thing. If you've got the space,
Will she be keeping them in a house like your cucumbers, Jess? Then will she? Or
no, but she doesn't have an allotment. She's got an actual garden, you know. So like she can run out if it's going to be nippy and grab them, and she's got a greenhouse down there and that kind of thing. It's slightly different setup than sort of when you have to take them to the allotment and it's like, and then it all goes wrong. It's more like she's got a bit of leeway. Yeah.
mind
What I was just going to say, Mark, that with the clips for the greenhouse, like, you know, rubber tipped gardening gloves where they're like textured and they're rubber tipped. If you buy some that are like 3 sizes too small for you, so they're like skin tight,
Right.
and you use them, they don't do all of that like pinging stuff and cutting your fingers and all that kind of stuff. But they have to be tight. Like you can't have like floppy gloves. If you buy really small ones, that helps a lot.
Another nugget of information. Another one.
Yeah, I recommend needle nose pliers for sure.
Yeah.
That's like pretty invaluable as well. You can get a really good grip on them.
I'll remind you of this next week. When I'm in bits and I'm sort of cuts across here with
scratches everywhere. Like fighting a terrier.
With my new gloves and my pliers that I spent £20 on as well.
Mark, I'm just looking. Have your headphones got like there's a red light on?
Well, there is. It's because it's got a microphone on it. The microphone's on mute when that's up. So it's my head glowing.
So I guess for me, why I'm not going, mind you, and this is my tip, is I just thought I burned electricity where I didn't need to. This is what I'm hoping. I'm going to go with clover compost, and I'm not going to worry about, I'm getting rid of all them. You know, them big Mars Hydro lights, they've all gone. Got rid of all them.
Really?
So I'm pure daylight, and I will do a dash if I have to. Do you know what I mean? And get like a cheapy pair of lights, but I'm going because I just thought it just sat. I mean, they sat, and I guess I can blame the compost, but I was like, for a month, just had the heat on. I had the heater on. I had the hot mats on. All the kind of, you know what I mean, and nothing happened. So this is the year I'm just going to try.
Oh, natural.
Got to, just got to kind of. I guess there was a fortune with the electric. I mean, the electric bill here is an absolute stonker of a. You know what I mean? I've got everything.
Really?
Look at man, I'm bloody. Everything that comes in the house has to have a plug on it for some reason. You know what I mean? So that's my tip. I'm trying to save. Would you believe energy this year? I don't know if it'll work or not, but. Jess, any nice little tips for newbies starting off their gardening journey now? You know, like, is there anything we can do to help them along?
Something that I've found out this year, like, well, it's been already. I've been using. So I've got one of those heat mats, just one that you plug in. And the first time I put all the stuff on the thing, but I used a tray that was like diamond patterned underneath and didn't touch, and no heat was getting through whatsoever, and I couldn't work out why. And now I've just realised what it is that all the heat's escaping underneath rather than going up into the soil, because the soil just was cold, even though I had it on like 48 degrees on the heat mat. It was no heat was getting through, but I've swapped over the actual base tray, and it's like suddenly it's all hot. So just that little tiny gap has made a huge difference.
So was it like ridges on the bottom of the...
It was like, it was a really old tray. I've only got a couple of them, so it's like pot luck that I actually used one of these, but it's like the underside has got quite a deep tread, and it's diamond patterned. So actually the amount of the
I know,
thing
yes.
was touching the heat mat was absolutely pitiful. And I would have thought that it wouldn't have made that much difference because the heat would be like trapped in those air pockets and still coming up. But for some reason, it just didn't work. And I've swapped it over for one that had a flat base, and it's working perfectly now.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Mark, anything from the Highlands up there that, for any...
I guess, I've been listening. I like to go for a daily walk because when I sit at my desk all day, I don't get very far. One of my favourite things to do is listen to a podcast. And I like gardening podcasts, and I won't name the rival garden podcasts that clearly aren't as good as this one. Was a really interesting one actually I was listening to, and the guy was talking about like getting a feel for it depending on where you are. Like I can talk a lot about using heat and lights, and I love using heat and lights. And it's interesting, some of the Facebook groups about allotments and garden and stuff, some people are so really angry and against them, and it's like, just get a feel for it. Just do what's right for your climate, your conditions, your lifestyle, what time you've got, how long your season is, how short your season is. Just feel it, experiment, try something. If it works, it doesn't work. If it does work, brilliant, try it again, try and improve on it. But people get so angry and against lights and heat, and it's like, use them, don't use them. It's up to you. I like using them. I mean, I love tinkering and playing about and trying to get them all right, get stuff off early-ish. But yeah, some people get really angry about them, which is it's quite funny. But when somebody's coming at like an allotment beginners group and said, "Oh, how do I use this?" and people are like, get their pitchforks out, you're using lights and heat, kind of thing. But each to their own is what I would say.
But I'm saying when you think chilies, though, it's like, how are you going to get that?
Oh, you need it, don't you? Yeah.
To the end of its course without heating lights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really nice message. There's not really a right or a wrong way to garden, is there? Like most people find their own way and figure stuff out, and experimenting is half the fun.
Do what you like, do what you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, then it's going to be pretty grim. Enjoy tinkering, playing about, having a go. Just do what you need to do.
And the thing is as long as you're doing it, doesn't matter if you're going to been doing it for a year or you've been a gardener for 50 years, you're still going to make massive fuck ups. And it's just not going to work one year. And sometimes it's not that you've messed up, it's just that some anomaly in the year just means it's just not going to work this year, even though it's worked for the last 30, and it just happens. Don't be afraid to mess it up.
Talking about
always the garden centre with plug plants if it all goes wrong.
Exactly. Yes. Well, I don't even have to have to go there. You know what I mean? It's that's just second nature. You know what I mean? Just spares. JB, I was just going to jump on there from what Jess said, talking about cups. How's your hot bin?
Because
I know Steve will be up there looking down, expecting something brilliant.
Yeah, so I finally kind of delved into the hot bin this weekend. I sort of had an idea of what was going on in there, but it's the first time I'd properly dug in all the way to the bottom, emptied it out, and it was not great. It wasn't awful. It wasn't terrible. But I did go back and look at Steve's video this morning, actually, just to see what his looked like. And he had a few things that went a little bit wrong and a little bit sideways. But His did look better than mine. Yeah, unsurprisingly, perhaps. But I think it's just been a bit of a moisture control issue, which does seem very, very common with hot bins. I can't tell. I think there might be a bit of a leak in mine because it's not perfectly on level ground, which, funnily enough, is exactly what happened to Steve as well when he first did it. He put his on a pallet, which then collapsed, and he shows a picture. And actually, there's like a massive gap in his, and water was getting in there as well. Still look better than mine though.
So,
But yeah. So I've the top kind of quarter was really, really rough and just not composted. Under that, it did look okay. It was just sludgy. It was really kind of gross. I filmed it all on a video that will come out soon, I'm sure. But the good thing is, the interesting thing, it didn't smell bad. Like normally with that kind of, when it's gone sludgy, it's gone anaerobic and it stinks. It's like grim, like eggy. But it was fine. Had no odor whatsoever. So what I've done is I've spread out a wheelbarrow full in the polytunnel, on the bed in the polytunnel, to sort of, because I think that will really help it dry out, basically. It's pretty well ventilated in there, and it's still getting quite warm even on these winter days. So then it'll allow me to have like a bit more of a look at it and see how it's drying out and see what the texture's like. But I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest. I can't lie.
I wonder if it's had a bit of a sort of, how we were talking about bokashi bins the other day. I wonder if it's had that sort of effect, and you could maybe sort of trench it and dig it into the soil, and it would sort of improve the soil almost. If it doesn't smell, if it's not gone sort of fusty, then it might have that sort of nutritional value to it that might still work in the soil.
Yeah, definitely.
would you go again with it, JB, or is it something that might
definitely.
just be pushed to the back of the allotment and as a?
No, I've got it now. The thing that has amazed me, I did quite a long sort of video talking about it. And the thing that has amazed me is just how much it ate. Like you get it a bit with pallet composters, when you just set up a pallet bay and you do chuck stuff on it and it does go down. But the hot bin was just like voracious. It just wanted more and more all the time. You would fill it up to the brim. The next time you open it within a week, it's all gone. It's like, where is it gone? And at times in the year, it did get really quite warm. I never got it up to like 80, 90 degrees, which you can get sometimes, but it was up into the 50s and 60s, and it was quite fun. It's quite fun. It's quite like, it's like a nice little mini game, like trying to keep the heat up in the hot bin. And what I was really hoping for, best case scenario, was that the hot bin compost was going to be like the best, the best thing I'd ever seen, and that I could use it for seed sowing, and pots and that kind of thing. It's way off that, but it's probably still an amazing mulch, which is kind of why I've just decided to use it in the polytunnel. Nice hungry crops in the polytunnel, tomatoes and stuff like that will probably benefit from it. So yeah, I'll definitely give it another go. I think if anything, I needed more browns, more cardboard and that kind of thing, and probably less lasagnaing. I did quite a bit of lasagnaing. That's just where you have your green layer, then your brown layer, then your green, then your brown. I probably should have been mixing it up a lot more, because I have found you get these kind of brown layers of wet cardboard mush. So probably a bit more cardboard, a bit more paper, and better mixed in to the whole thing.
So
very expensive. They're very, very expensive.
They are.
To not get it right. If I'd paid £500 for it, and this was my first unveiling after a year, I would be pretty annoyed with myself.
There is a guy on YouTube who's a bit of a hot bin expert. I don't think it's a massive channel. I can't remember his name though.
I know the one
to plug him, but I think he's really on it with the hot bin.
There are, because you've got one, haven't you, Mark?
Yes.
What's your experience before I carry on waffling about mine?
Probably quite
so far
similar to yours. I think the compost that comes out of it is good for putting on the beds. I wouldn't use it for seed sowing. Maybe if you sieved it and that, but you wouldn't get a lot of product to use at the end of it, I don't think. But yeah, chuck on the beds and things like that is good. But it's amazing when you put stuff in, just how quickly it goes down. Like as soon as you start getting like grass clippings or something there that generate like a lot of heat, it just whoosh and it's gone in an instant. It's really impressive. But I think mine needs resighted as well, but I think where it is, it's not had enough sunlight. So I'm going to put it in a sunnier spot this season and hopefully get more of a sort of production line going with it, I think.
Nice. How many times have you emptied yours?
Is it 3 I've emptied it? Mine's not. Mine's only a smallish one, though. Mine's only the small size one, so it's not a lot. And it's good, though. It keeps it going. In the winter, it doesn't do a lot, I must admit. But as soon as it warms up in the springtime, it really, really gets going.
Yeah, interesting. Do you use any other composting system like Dalek composters?
Yeah, I've got a couple of Daleks, and I've got a big pallet collar thing. Well, I built a pallet bin when I first got the allotment. I built at the site I'm on now about 3.5 years ago, and I've never emptied it. I just keep topping it up.
Wow!
I just keep filling it up and filling up. So one day I'm going to open the little door, and there's this mountain of compost is going to come out. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful compost.
Very nice.
It does seem a lot of work, mind you, for it to fail as well. Never mind the failing, just like, where you can kind of make your own, like your 3-bay compost bin, move it and turn it. It's going to work.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to invest in one, it doesn't do the work for you. You get what you put in. It's like you do have to do your research before you get one, for sure. And I'm hoping if you're going to spend that much money on a composter, you would have done a fair bit of research anyway. But it really surprised me how much processing you do have to do. And like I say, a bit disappointed, if I'm honest, given that I wasn't perfect with it. When I first started it, I was pretty guilty of just treating it like a cold composter. It wasn't until the lovely folks in my YouTube comments are like, that's not how you do it, JB. That is not right. So, I was like, oh, okay, I need to get shredding and chipping. Bought a cardboard shredder and like all that stuff.
I can't, to be honest, see. I mean, what's the benefit? I mean, I'm sure there is a benefit, but if it's just quick compost, that doesn't seem a benefit, to be honest. I'm not like, are you that desperate for like compost? Do you know what I mean? Like, what you want it like 90 days instead of like 150 days? You know what I mean? Does it make that much difference, kind of thing? I don't know. Do they sell it as it's fast? It's fast. Is that the way they sell it? Because
I think the main selling point of hot bins and hot composting, the speed is a part of it, but I think really it's the sterile compost, right? Like you're meant to have sterile compost that is much higher quality as well. But you could get a similar, if you have enough material to fill up one of those, the big 400 litre, 500 litre ones that I've got, you can achieve the same results in a pallet compost system. Like that's what Simplify Gardening does. It's what Charles Dowding do. They have so much material that they are hot composting. They're just hot composting in a pallet. If you've just got one little allotment and you've got your pallet bay, it's going to take ages and ages to actually fill that thing up. So that's why you've got a cold compost system. It does go through a lot of material. It is quicker compost and it should be higher quality, but it is more work for sure.
Looking forward to that video then, JB.
I'm looking forward to seeing how it sort of dries out and how everything does in the polytunnel next year. See if there's a noticeable difference or anything.
I've got Mark. Before I move on to this, are you sowing anything? Have you sowed anything? Can we just jump back to that? I don't know if
onions. Well, yeah. You said the onions are on the go, but
yes, that's right.
One in, one ear out.
It's straight out.
Chilies and aubergines to come. Is just a quick recap for everybody.
Right. When are you doing aubergines then? When all this big move's done, or are you going to do your aubergines in the house?
What are we now? The 13th of January. Oh, I reckon within the next 10 to 12 days. I'm aiming to before the end of the month, before the end of January is my target, because I'm going to do a video, I'm going to do a premiere. So I want it for that. So I'm going to do chilies, aubergines, and sweet peas. I think I might crack with the sweet peas beforehand, though. I might do them before. But chilies and aubergines certainly before the end of the month.
I've seen loads of videos now. Have you seen the videos like 10 seeds to sow in January kind of thing? I was like, oh, pulling teeth from a dead horse, to be honest. I could not do that kind of video. I'll tell you what I have got, though. Got my... Can you see that there? There's my jalapenos.
Chili charm.
Yeah, it's got my jalapenos. These are the
Nice.
only ones I'm going to sow. So I've got 2 packets of jalapenos.
It should save you some money in the long run, Tony.
I know. 2
Very
packets
nice.
of Ring of Fire and 1 packet of JB recommended these cayenne.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
classic.
That's it. That's all I'm sowing chilies. I'm going for quantity of a milder version, to be honest.
Very good. Very sensible.
So,
I've been working on a little seed kit with Grown Local.
All right.
It should go live very soon. Might have gone live today. But basically kind of picked 4 that I kind of recommend. And Ian has just said it is live. So hopefully we'll put a link in the show notes.
Oh, yes.
But, yeah, really, really good value. It's like cheaper than a $5.
Yeah.
And you get 4 packs of chili seeds.
Brilliant.
All ones I've grown before and recommend. I can't remember exactly what they are off the top of my
I was
head.
going to say.
Hungarian flag, Bishop's
In
crown.
one ear,
and
out
then
the other.
and another one.
He's
I
a
got one that
fraud.
I've forgotten. But yeah, that's really, really nice to have up on the website. It'll be quite cool. I think a few people will hopefully get that and sort of grow along. And therefore are the varieties that I'll be doing this year. But very similar. I'll be doing much fewer chilies this year in terms of variety.
Yeah, ditto. I've done really few. I've gone back to basics. I've gone lemon ahi and orange habanero, and I'm doing the aroma habanero again, which was the one that actually Ian sent me last year. I'd never grown it before, but it was really pretty. And although I didn't get anything ripe off it, the amount of chilies it produced, I think if
This
we have
year, Jess, this year.
Exactly. I think if we have a good year, it will be phenomenal. And then the only other 2 I've done is I've done Sugar Rush Peach and Sugar Rush Peach Stripey.
Right.
So I'm sticking with that this year. Yeah.
That would be...
Watch this space when I start sowing extras. I must have this one, must have that one. But at the moment, that's all I've got.
Well, it was Jason who took my Sugar Rush Stripey and made like a jam out of it. Just was gorgeous, Jess. It was absolutely... Because it did have that kind of kick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like... I don't like too mild, and certainly chili chumps, jalapenos aren't too mild at all. You know what I mean? It's got like a kick. You know what I mean? I'm drinking milk after them things. So it's that's the ones for me. JB, are you sticking to these 4 that's in the...
I'm doing some others as well, but I have not decided which yet.
Right.
There's a few that one of my viewers, David, sent me from America that look really, really cool from I think Johnny's Seed Company or something like that. So I'll be doing a few of those and a few of the classics as well, I'm sure. I can't really do a growing year without cayenne or Ring of Fire.
Where would you put cayenne and JB? Is it like jalapeno, cayenne, Ring of Fire?
That's exactly correct.
Well,
Well done, Tony.
there you go.
That's a good ranking.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah,
Right.
you got your jalapenos around 5,000, cayenne around 30,000, and Ring of Fire 50,000-ish. Ring of Fire is really just a cayenne that's been bred for a little bit of an extra kick. Very similar flavors. So
We've still got, and honestly, man, JB, I've got to ask you this as well before I move on. We've still got some sauces, and it's lovely, honestly, just like a burger tea kind of thing, and just putting some of this kind of sauce on. And most of my sauces this year, I took the seeds out, so I had them high-end yellow ones. What a lovely sauce that makes. I mean, I took the seeds out so that it's certainly not potent. It's got a kick, but not nowhere near, you know what I mean, what it should be like. But what a flavour when you kind of do that, like, say, 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, the what you call it, with the salt,
the fermentation.
Lovely. So, Mark, have you got your chilies lined up, ready to go, like up there, or is it just like a last minute?
Yeah, I keep thinking I do, and I keep buying more seeds. And I wish I could tell you the ones I'm going to do, but I've got so many now that I haven't quite decided which ones I'm going to do. But I did buy a basket fire that looks. I think it looks amazing. Like normally I would do a basket of fire in a pot, as opposed still in the polytunnel, but in a pot separate to the beds. But I found one the other day, and it was basket of fire, but the chilies are round. And I thought, oh, I'll grow one of them for a change. That'd be different. So that's definitely going to go on the agenda. But I'm not sure about the others yet, though. I've just got a big pile of seeds, and I've not quite whittled it down to the chosen few.
How many do you reckon you can grow?
I don't normally do 3 or 4 varieties of chili, because I put most of the polytunnels like tomatoes, bell peppers, and cucumbers, and then sort of probably 4 chilies, and then maybe another couple in pots as well on the top of it. But yeah, so
Very
it's
And
sensible.
each one of your plants would be a different variety.
different one, yeah, different one, and that's
Just one of each.
It's half the fun, isn't it? Sort of trying something different and getting different varieties, isn't it? But it's tough. It's tough competition to get into that
It's really.
top 3, isn't it? To get in the polytunnel. Yeah, good luck
Just
to
you've
them.
been talking there, right opposite my microphone. There is a packet of cayenne, and now I'm like, oh, there is a little bit of space on the end of that tray that I've just.
Do it.
It begins.
Do it.
They're literally looking at me like, oh yeah.
Well, my theory is like I'm going for processing the chilies. Do you know what I mean? It's not like just like
Yeah.
to get them over. I really do want to get like a crop of chilies to make more sauce, and the sauces I've made have been lovely. So I've still got. Well, we're down to 1 bag left now of jalapenos in the freezer, where we've been making Audrey's stuffed. Like stuffed jalapenos kind of thing. So, and they keep just perfect in the freezer. Do you know what I mean? They come out rock solid. I've got a sharp knife. I just cut them in half, chuck them with the cheese, the filling, and that breadcrumbs on. Where we go. Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
I can always make it a rocket more now. And just anything else? Anything going on that we need to know about? God, I mean, it's been brutally cold here, I'll be honest. It's been like permafrost on my garden. I'm just kind of terrible. So I don't know what's it like down for you southern shandy drinkers down there. Is it been tropical?
It's definitely not tropical down here. There's quite a few days where the ground is still, like, I'll go to the allotment and by the time I'm leaving at 4, the ground is still frozen solid. Normally in the slightly shadier patches. But yeah, it's been like the air temperature has been around 0. But it's been, I love it. I love when you've got a clear sky day like that. Yeah. I've been working on my raised beds, and that is like some of my favourite gardening weather. Yeah. I love it. I really, really enjoy it.
We had a stretch of 3 days where it didn't get above 0. It was really, really and it was like the lowest temperature we recorded in the greenhouse was -4 point something inside the greenhouse. But like you say, it was like perfect. It was a beautiful blue skies. It was just really, really lovely. And then we came over, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember now. Oh, time's blurred into one. But it's like it came over really grey and the temperature rose and suddenly it was freezing because it's suddenly wet. Like when it's really cold, it goes really dry. And like somehow the cold doesn't kind of get into your bones. Yeah. And then the moment it kind of just goes above 0 and it's about like 2-3 degrees and everything starts melting and it's cold and blooming freezing. Yeah, it was
Jess, I think you're right, because I think that's how Audrey gets away with, like her silly temperatures were here, where we're always going, but it's cold here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like it was saying on my app, like 0 degrees feels like -8. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, and you go out and you're like, oh, where Audrey seems to just kind of.
But the wet, it just goes. But you can tell the difference, like on those days where it's really beautiful sunshine and it's just sparkly and cold, but really cold. Kind of doesn't get inside you. It's just like all lovely and beautiful on the outside, and then the moment it like becomes damp, it's like in your bones.
It's so true. Yeah. I really feel it.
I think we've got one of them days now, to be honest, when haven't been out at all. I've just been kind of tending the fire. That's my job since about 11 o'clock. I've just been putting the odd log on the fire there, having a snooze, watching a bit of YouTube there. Going, I mean, just kind of got the dogs cuddling us. Anything else? Oh, God. I'm just saying.
Oh, no.
Who's that?
I've got WhatsApp opened on me. Wife's took the dogs out for a walk and she's lost the little dog, Ralph. He's wandered off somewhere on the cliffs. So I think that's my daughter saying, Dad, are you going to come and help? No.
You're on your own for 20 minutes.
Why do you know that? He's getting, bless him, he's getting a bit confused, and he just wanders off with anybody. You know what I mean? So you kind of keep your eye on the two Dobermans, and then you turn around and he's not there. So
I'm sure.
not on my watch, it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. It wasn't my watch. So, this is a little thing. Does anybody want to come on? Because Audrey's not too good at the moment. Audrey's, bless her, having a bit of a hard time. Now, Mark, I was just thinking, Mark's been jumping in and helping me here, but we might need a female to help Jess along there, another female presenter. So if anybody wants, who's in that position to kind of help her, come on the show. We do record this at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Monday. That's the only snag. But if there's any females out there that are kind of into that, just to balance it up, because we can't have all males, do you know what I mean? Kind of.
And you have to have a beard.
Even hair males as well, I'll tell you that. So if anybody wants to kind of pop on, come on and get in touch. sofanotes@gmail.com. That would be fantastic, and keep us under control. Anything else to kind of? I know we're kind of a little bit early there, but I'm getting a bit paranoid about the dog.
You're worried about the dog.
I've signed up to go to Melvin Garden Show, the spring festival. Yes, I'm gonna. It's honestly, it's a pain to get to from Scotland, like the middle of England. So it's in Melvin, near Birmingham sort of way, and it is a pain to get to. But I've committed. I've signed up. I've booked my Airbnb. I'm just waiting for the cheap train tickets to come online and get a cheap train ticket. And then,
would you get the train down? I was going to.
I think so. It's a 6-hour drive,
right?
And I mean, the thing is, if I take the car, then I can buy plants and like stuff and put it in the car and bring it back. But then 6 hours drive, and I could just sit on the train with a beer and some music on and things like that, and it'd be quite nice. But yeah, so I'm going to be there on the Sunday. So I'm going to travel down on the Saturday, stay overnight, stay there on the Sunday, stay overnight on the Sunday, back on the Monday.
So
very nice.
One of the top YouTube influencers there going to Melvin. If you want that autograph, be quick, get in line.
Get a free key ring.
What time's your talk, Mark? When are you on stage?
On the main stage, yeah. Me and Monty are on it.
It's been years since I've been to a garden show. God, it was
I've never been to one.
Yeah.
This will be my first one. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
My first one.
When is it? What's the date?
Oh.
May the. I think the
one.
Saturday is the 10th when I'm travelling down. So I think it's on Saturday and Sunday, or maybe on the Friday as well. I can't remember, but yes, I'm going to be there on the Sunday. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, last year was the first year that I haven't been to Chelsea since I was about 10, and it was I really felt like I was missing out. At the time, I was like, I'm not paying 120 quid to go and walk around a flower show and then spend 18 quid on a small cup of wine. It's not going to happen. Like, I've got my ass, I was going to say something really rude there. It wasn't on it. And then by the time it actually came around and it was on the telly and the build up, I was like, oh, I should have gone. All the tickets are gone by then anyway. So
can you not get
Jess, I think the BBC do a fantastic coverage, so that doesn't bother us. It's a bit like Glastonbury. I prefer to watch it sitting on the setting.
It's true. The thing is, though, is like at Chelsea, honestly, like you go on the days when it's like members' days or whatever, and you can't get close to the gardens. You can't get anywhere. You see it on the you have to basically watch it on the telly first to even know what you're looking at when you're there. But it's like there's lots of people I know on stands and stuff, and it's the only it's like the one day of the year I always go and like have a chat with like somebody that I haven't seen since that time last year. So that's a bit of a shame, but yeah, press day, was that what you were saying, Mark?
Yeah, can you get a press pass to go?
The BBC don't, any of the BBC shows, they won't. I went to press day. I've done press day at Hampton Court a couple of times, and I've done press day at Chelsea once. But they don't like it if you're a YouTuber. You have to be
really?
like, because they won't let you film. You can't take any from any of the BBC garden shows. You can't take film. It only stills because the BBC own all the footage. So if you go to like apply for press day and you're like, oh, I mainly make things in video, they're like, well, no, it instantly no. So you have to kind of go on an Instagram basis, basically, or a blog.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
I've heard rumours from a fellow YouTuber that Melvin are quite accommodating in terms of that, and you can get in with a pass and free parking
nice.
in a lunch voucher and things. So
I see.
we'll see.
I've been to Melvin once, and
Oh.
I was quite shocked. Like,
You
It's
won't
not
be
too
getting
late to
a free
cancel.
I mean, in the sense of, if you like, the only two flower shows I'd ever been to is Chelsea and Hampton Court, and Melvin was quite a different kettle of fish. Yeah,
Interesting.
it was.
Well, the bar's low for me. I've never been to one. So the bar's. I was thinking about going to
I really
Scone
liked
Palace
it,
as
but
well.
it had a really like
Amateur.
a school fete kind of feel about
really?
it. It was
Off we got a
nice.
bake
It was
sale.
really nice, but it was quite a different setup. Yeah, but it was nice because like everyone was really chatty. Like rather than like you go to one of the big flower shows or whatnot, and everyone's just like trying to like move you on for the next person to kind of come along and buy something from them. Yeah, chatting to everybody, and it was really friendly, and but like totally different experience. It was really interesting. I think I'm really tempted to go up again. Actually, I'd forgotten that it was on quite so early in the year. I was thinking it was a later one.
Yeah, I'm sure it's May the 10th, May the 11th ish.
Yeah, I was thinking for some reason I was thinking it was like one of the the last ones, but it's not. It's one of the first, isn't it?
I forgot the name. Me and my mum went to a Scotland one. I don't know what, I forget. It was a big one. Do you know what I mean?
I'm thinking about going to this one at Scone Palace that I'm thinking about going to. That's
I don't know.
that comes
I've
up
heard of
in
that one.
start of May, I think it is.
I can't remember what it
about
was.
that.
Got some
What's
lovely
the-
plants.
What's the order that they go in? Can you remember? Is Chelsea the last one? Because that's not like.
Oh,
Was that early? I can't even remember. There's like a set order, isn't there? Or is Hampton the last one?
Melvin's got two as well, because Melvin have a spring and an autumn one.
Hampton's the first week of July. So maybe that's the.
I thought it was Chelsea, not June.
Yeah, maybe it goes June and then. I mean, maybe it does go June and then July, Jesse. It's always done that. Maybe it goes Chelsea and then Hampton. I can't remember. One year I'd really like to do all of them. That's all like the whole.
A grand tour.
Mind you, when you say
grand
how
tour,
much
exactly.
how much you pay, Jess, for a ticket for Chelsea, and it's like
That's
you say,
ridiculous.
10 deep at each garden is just like brutal.
The worst is though trying to buy a Pims. I am not kidding.
Never mind the gardens.
Never mind the gardens. Like at least when you pay a lot of money for your ticket, you sort of know what you're paying. I bought 2 Pims in a plastic cup. They weren't mixed. They had a big bucket of cucumber and strawberries and ice that went into a plastic cup, and the Pims is pre-mixed on a hoo-ha, on a pump. It was 3/4 full. That's it. There was about, I don't know, a millimetre of Pims in it. Do you know how much it cost? Each.
Oh, I don't want to know.
Each.
I'm not guessing.
£17.50 each, and I bought 2, and it was nearly 40 quid, and I nearly fell over. And then there was a crack in my cup, so as I walked away, it was all pissing down my sleeve. It was. Don't buy Pims at Chelsea. It was just ridiculous.
You see, that's why we have an independence referendum in Scotland. Paying £17.50 for a cup of Pims is just
wrong.
It's too much.
It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. I'm still hurting, actually, to be fair.
We can feel it.
That was about 5 years ago as well.
If that was 5 years ago. Imagine the price
Can you
now.
imagine?
Imagine it.
Inflation. They're probably 25 quid now.
Oh man, it's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap this puppy up for the first one of 2025? JB, anything going on?
Nothing urgent from me.
Nothing?
It's been a busy break. It's been ages since we chatted. I could go on and on for hours about all the stuff I've done on the allotment. It's been quite productive.
Yeah, I haven't.
Quite pleasant, but yeah.
I haven't done much. At all. Mark, anything last words before we shoot off then? Or?
No, just everything's sort of stalled, I think, over the last week with the weather. Like you saying before, we were down like -6, -7 for 2 days. And like sometimes you go up there and it's like frosty on the top. And you're like, you can dig and it's fine, you get through. It was solid, like for inches. You couldn't do anything. So everything was literally frozen, including me doing anything in the allotments. Everything was just paused.
Yeah.
It was on hold.
You can do more damage, can't you? When it's all that frozen, you can really just end up.
Well, that's
causing problems.
the benefit as well. Let's just hope it just wipes out all bugs and everything like that, and
Good for the
nasties and
slugs.
stuff, you know what I mean?
Kill the
So,
slugs off.
Aphids.
Jess, where can we find you?
Plot37.com, Patreon, YouTube,
First one of that. You got
and
that one?
Substack.
Oh,
new one. What's this? Something new.
Right, well, give us a link there for that, Jess, and I'll put it in the show notes.
Thank you.
JB, where can we find you?
You can find me at Naturally JB on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, and on Grown Locals seed kit page.
Doesn't have the same ring. Doesn't have the same ring as like a Substack newsletter. You know what I mean? And Mark, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at Mark Solomon Plot on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, and at the Melvin Spring Show.
Oh, coming live, the Melvin. Right. Well, big thank you to everyone in the chat. Lovely to see you all back again there. That's fantastic. We will hopefully be here next week. Like I say, if anyone wants to get in touch about coming on the show sometime in the future, let us know as well. Until then, look after yourselves. Take good care.
Bye.
Bye.